What you said?
All right. Good afternoon, guys and ladies. AJ Brown here, your financial coach, your private investor, and your support team. I'm here again. I want to say thank you again for participating in my first video in this series. Actually didn't even realize it was going to be a series until, I guess, this morning. The first video is posted on my page if you missed the seminar. It's called How to Qualify for a Purchase or Refinance Mortgage and Never Get Denied. Now, just because I put the word mortgage in here doesn't mean that the strategies and the formulas that I was teaching doesn't apply to renters as well. Let me go over it real quickly and then we're going to move on. When we got to the bottom line of it all, what it really is about, guys and ladies, is you managing your cash flow or your debt management well. And here's what banks really want to see. Remember, I talked about this. If you didn't watch the video, I encourage you to go back on my page, find it, so you know what I'm talking about. We already know the front-end ratio, 29%. Back-end ratio, 41% is what we should go by. Now, 29% being this is your amount for your, what we know as PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. This also can go for your rent amount. You understand? This also can go for your rent amount. Being for each $1,000, 29% of that should be used for more PITI, which equals your mortgage, or the rent. Okay? So I don't want people who are not in the market today for a mortgage or to buy a home to feel that I left them out, because I didn't. This can apply for your rent as well. If you govern yourself accordingly, you will always be in the right ratio. You can go maybe 32%, but I wouldn't go any higher than 32% of your income, guys. So for every $1,000, we're talking about $290. See how disgusting that is? But this is how the banks judge us, so you need to know this. So where you can govern yourself a lot better. And by doing these ratios and handling yourself this way, you're going to be able to, your credit scores will go up. And I'm going to go more into that a little bit later. So we already understand the 29% front-end ratio, back-end ratio 41%. That's including, 41% is including the 29% plus any other debts, recurring debts that you have, not including like your utilities. That's not included in that. You know, but overall you would want to include that in that, so that way you know exactly where you're at. You don't want to spend more than half of your income going towards stuff, and we'll talk about stuff today. So hopefully you guys got this. If you didn't, go back to my video that I did a couple days ago and catch up, because you're behind. We already understand the 41% ratio philosophy, which is actually a fact. That's what the banks use. Okay? That's how you begin to understand what's going on. Now, today's seminar, and I'm going to be brief as I can. Today's seminar is basically it's called "Why Do I Work So Hard, but Where Is My Money?" Oh, by the way, if you have questions or anything like that, please put them in the comment section. That'll help me out. Don't stay right there. Put it in the comment section. That'll help me out, so I can I don't want anyone calling me or anything like that, because it's gonna disturb my video shot. So if you have any comment section, any questions, any concerns, please put them in the comment section. I thought I rolled that down. Okay, now, why do I work so hard and I barely have anything to show for it? Now, today's seminar is based, it doesn't matter if you're somebody making $20,000 a year, $50,000 or $100,000, because it applies to everyone. Everyone is under these rules, and these are rules that you're playing in this game that you weren't really taught, but you feel it. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by you weren't really taught. It's kind of like something you heard about, or you think it's something you can't do anything about, but you feel it. And how do you feel it in your paycheck? I'm going to prove it to you right now. Now, today's speech is for everyone who is working. I'm not talking about folks who don't have a job or who are or not employed, anything like that. I'm talking to the folks who are getting a paycheck, and paying W-2 wages. I'm also speaking to those who are 1099 wage earners, because some of you guys think you're super smart too, but I'm going to show you where you're missing it at. And here's the foundation. Stop cutting my head off. Here's the foundation of where we get, or I get all of this from. One, I am a licensed registered tax preparer. Okay, this is what you're doing. Tax preparer in the United States of America. Okay, state of Florida. Now, in Texas, some other states too. So, I see this every day. Okay, I see where a lot of my neighbors, community folk, business people are missing it. Okay, because like I said, we're not really taught everything. We're playing a game of money, playing a game of life, but we weren't really taught the rules. We were taught some of the rules, but the rule book like this. But you're taught this much. So yeah, you're gonna have a problem. So we're gonna teach you a little bit more. And you decide to join up with my membership and my teamwork, my teammate, a little bit more. You're going to be able to get enough information and education to where you can match up and understand all the rules in these books. You're not going to understand everything, I'm sorry, but most of them that will apply to you, or you can make them apply to you so you can actually win at the game of money. So let's talk about the problem. The problem is you're working 40 hours. You're working 50 hours, 60 hours, overtime, double time, all that great stuff. And on top of that, because you're not getting the real results that you think you should have in your paycheck, some of you guys are getting out there getting 2 jobs. Well, as a taxpayer, I gotta tell you this. Under the W-2 way of earning money, okay, the more that you make, the more that they're gonna take. Remember that. If you don't remember, write it down right now. Just real quick. The more you make, the more they, who is they, will take. Remember that. Let that burn into your memory banks here. The more you make, the more they will take. This is not my rules. This is not my saying. This is just my understanding and experience in America. That's just the way it is for W-2 wage earners. 97% of you guys are W-2 wage earners. Anybody that got a government job, anybody that has a county, city, state job, anyone who works at Burger King, anybody that works at Checkers, anyone who works at Rallies, anybody that works at Pizza Hut, so on and so forth, a hospital, so on and so forth, insurance companies, so on and so forth. If you do not own the job, as I explained before, right? Remember I did this, the quadratic quadratic equation? It's the wrong word for it, but you know what I mean if you watch my video. These guys right here, remember employees, E stands for employee. Zoom in on that. E stands for employee. S stands for the self-employed. Employees, we got 97% of you guys in America that are employees. Self-employed folk, These are usually the 1099 boys too. They own the job. These folks support and work the job. The self-employed folks, they own the job. Okay? The business owners, the self-employed folks are folks that own the job and they work in the job as like an employee. In other words, when they stop working, the money stops coming in. Business owners, they own the job. They taken some money and they invested in a business system such as a Burger King, a McDonald's, so on and so forth, or a network marketing company, so on and so forth. And they manage the system that gets the money. You guys over here work for the money. Highly taxed. Self-employed people, they own the job, but when they stop working or take a day off, the money goes away. These people right here buy into a system. And when they buy into a system, that system operates without them. And the investors are those who create or pay people to create the systems that they sell or to business owners, and they get paid residuals as well as they do. This is really, in America, the best place to be. And we'll talk about that in another series. But right now, let's go back and talk about the real culprit of the day. The more you make, the more they will take. So we're going to talk about why is that. And then I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go as quickly and as efficiently as I can. I hope I don't leave anyone behind in my explanation. If I do, I encourage you to send me some questions. Send me some questions. No problem. If you guys like what I'm saying, go ahead and hit the like or the love button. I appreciate that. That supports me mentally and in my spirit. It helps me keep going. So if you're watching, let me know that you're watching. Shoot me some likes, shoot me some love buttons. I appreciate that. Now, here's what the issue we have. We already established, or we know right now, that your issue that you may or may not know is this. If you guys can see that word, it's taxes. Now, I want to go on the record for right now and forever. I am not anyone who teaches tax evasion. That's illegal. If you have taxes to pay, you better pay them. But tax avoidance or tax minimization is legal, and that is what I love to teach. To minimize your taxes legally, and that's the type of tax preparer you must have on your team to avoid trouble, to avoid being fined and penalized and all those things, because eventually they will catch up to you. They will. The IRS is nothing but a debt collection company, so I have to go on record as saying that. Now that that disclaimer is over, taxes, that's called corporate. And here's how it affects you. That's one of the culprits against you. Let's say you are someone who earns $60,000 a year. 60K represents $60,000. What'd you calculate that? Keep it in here really quick. Now, I already know that you, as a W-2 wage earner, will be taxed at about 33% of your income for that year. So, at $60,000, 33% of that is basically what? 1/3. Right? So, with that being said, we're looking at you earning about, let's see, you got it? 60,000 by 33? Come on. You should have been doing this already.
40,200.
You're $60,000 times 33%. It's $19,800. Right. We're just doing some simple math, folks. So you guys get worded out, okay? All right. So basically, if you're making $60,000, $19,800 of that is going to taxes. Now that means that we're left with what? Let's do the math. 6,000 minus 19,800 leaves you with $40,200. Now, most people will say, Coach, what's wrong with that? I got to do my part. I got to pay taxes. You know, I got to pay taxes, right? Yeah. But you're being overtaxed. The IRS has gone on record itself and said that the United States taxpayer has, come on, Alan. The United States taxpayer has they pay an average or an overage of, you know, $40 to $50 a week. And for most people, that's a lot of money. That's money they could use to pay a bill, car note, reduce some debt, things like that. Especially cell phone bills, they so doggone high for no reason. So you can use that extra money to pay that junk, right? But here's where we're at, $40,200. Now, most folks say, Coach, that's not a lot of money. I pay that. I've been paying it. My mama been paying it. My grandparents, all those people, they've been paying it. Yeah, but you got to understand there are rules to the game. Here's one rule of the game in America. If you don't understand how the tax game works, they're gonna rule your paycheck. So this is basically saying this here. We're missing. You're giving away 19,800, right? So where we're at with all is this: when you're missing about $20,000 of your income, what is it that you're gonna do? What you talking about? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna work. I'm gonna take myself to work. I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna keep working, man, like I always been doing. Yeah, but when I say what you're gonna do, I mean, like, what happens if an emergency come up? Surely 40,000 ain't gonna be enough. You're a person making 60,000 working with other people that probably make more than you, so I'm pretty sure that you don't want to be riding in a jalopy, wearing clothes that don't fit into the group. They're all going out, hanging out, Taco Tuesday, whatever, latest night, you want a vacation, whatever. You want to be able to show and prove with that too. Now, I'm not telling you to keep up with the Joneses, never that, but I'm the kind of coach and the kind of mentor to tell you, I'm not here to tell you to live below your means. Because we were put on this earth not to be the tail, but to be the head. Being the head is what? Above. The tail is what? Below. If you're going to be the tail, that means you're living below your means. That's my definition of that. And it's not for everybody to live below their means. It's not for you to have to not get the best foods or have the best threads or the best vehicle that you can afford, so that way you don't have to worry about it breaking down and stuff. But if it does break down, you do happen to have a vehicle that does break down, I got a service for you. I'm going to let you try it for free. And if you break down, you call them, they come get you, take you home. No problem. So back on to this. You're giving away $20,000 in income. Now, something happens. What? I need a car. Right. And most of us don't want the little nasty cars they got out there. When you get somebody that get a car that's 10 years old, because you're forced to do it because your credit bad, and I talked to you about that in the last video on what we can do about that. But you need a car. So now you need to go and you find a car you want, but the way these cars are being sold today, you know, you got to spend $30,000. Right? Sometimes they don't have to be $30,000. Don't have to be a new car. $30,000 could be a used SUV, because some of us out here got a basket full of children, and you can't pack them in a Honda. You need a SUV. Sometimes they got a decent SUV about $30,000. All right, or a car. Maybe you don't have children. You want a car. That's what you're gonna spend because you want to look sporty, right? And you want the warranty. So let's do the math. $30,000 is what the car costs you. $40,200 is what you got left over the course of time. Not all at once. Over the course of time. Over a year, they're going to pay you that little bit of money. Yeah, I said $40,000 is a little bit of money. They don't pay you that over a year. Now you need a car. Okay? $30,000. If you want to be somebody, let's say you stay with your mom or somebody, you didn't pay any rent, didn't have any obligations, which that's hard to find that these days. And you save that money up, now you only got $12,200. Excuse me, you only got $10,200 left over for the rest of over the course of time for the year. Well, first problem is you don't got $30,000. That's the first problem. You don't have $30,000. Okay? And because they've taken most of your money, you gave up most of your money here. This is what you got to work with that's left over. $30,000. You can't do it. So what do? I'm right up here. Anybody know what you do when you don't have enough money? You can shout it out on there if you think you can get the answer right. And by the way, if you like what I'm saying, please share this video. Invite your friends and family members on here. Don't keep me a secret. I'm one of the best kept secrets in America. Don't keep me a secret. Let's help your family members out so they can do better in their community and household, and so they can do better in their community, in churches or whatever. Help the schools out too, because schools need it. Okay? So where we at? $40,200 left over. You got $30,000 for a car. You don't have the money. So here's what you got to do. Yeah, you already know. Borrow it. You got to borrow the money or get a loan. Now, we're in a problem. We got a situation here. Let me show you why. This your W-2 income. We already know you're going to get taxed 33%. This is already gone. That one's gone. So instead of 1/3 of your income is gone. So now you have 2/3 of your income. Well, now we're in a worse problem. You don't have to move every time I move. Two-thirds of your income is what you survive off of. But here's the problem. You paid taxes. Now to fill this gap right here, what you don't have, okay? You had to borrow the money for a car, through credit cards, student loans, whatever. You needed some money. You needed like major dental work or something, $10,000. Or worst case scenario, somebody got sick, hurt, ill, passed away. You need money now. You can't wait 6 months. You can't wait 6 weeks. You need it now. So what do? We borrow it from any of them banks that's out there. Doesn't matter. I sell money. Go on record again. Another disclaimer. I'm telling you now. I sell money. You need to borrow money to buy a house, car, credit, whatever. I can get you the money. All loans are bad. I'm going on record to say all loans are bad. I said in my first video as well, and another video I did like last week. All loans are bad. Sometimes they're a necessary evil, and that means just what I said, a necessary evil, but all loans are bad. I'm going to show you why. Our money's already gone. Now we got 2/3 of the money left over. Now that we had good credit, mediocre credit, or bad credit, we was able to borrow the $30,000. Or we went out, got some credit cards, got some clothes, go on vacation, all that stuff. This money right here now belongs to the bank. Some of us that have student loans, credit cards, auto loan, or loans, that money belongs to the bank. So your 1/3 of the money is going to taxes. 2/3 of your money is going back to paying the banks. And this is the best scenario situation. And this is somebody making $60,000. So that 2/3 of your money is gone. Now you're left with what? 1/3 of your money. I don't care who you are. You can disagree with me or whatever. We could pull your numbers out right now. Get your stubs of the last 2 years. Let me prove it to you in your numbers. Okay? I'll show you. 1/3 of your money is left up to you. Now, how much is 1/3 in this? From $60,000. How much we got left over? Anybody know? For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer. $19,800. You've been working all year, getting cussed out, fussed at, funny eyes looking at you. People try to make you feel insecure. They want to put you on the bubble at your job. They don't appreciate you. They overwork you, underpay you. That's what your ass left with. Yeah, I said it. That's what you left with. $19,800. And you try to live off this for the whole year. And not even all up front. In increments. Monthly increments. To make this more real, make sure you get it big enough so they can see the screen. Unblock that. This is how disgusting this gets, folks. This is what you're trying to live off of every month in this example. So for my friends out there, my family members out there that are making $60,000 as a W-2 wage earner, and that is usually our scenario, this is what you're trying to live off of every month. Every month. Now, you might be able to skirt by if you have no children. If you're solo dolo, by yourself, you might be able to skirt by. Because you can afford, you'll be willing to live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I know in the state of Florida, hell, a 2-bedroom apartment in South Florida, we're talking about $1,100. I mean, in a decent area, $1,500. But in the more lower income areas, man, we're talking about $1,000 a month for a 2-bedroom. $1,000 just for rent. Is this picture making sense, folks? Is it making sense? You got $650 to live off of for gas, insurance. I ain't even getting into what the expenses. Insurance for the car, gas. God forbid you get a blowout and you got new tires. Now that you can't afford those $200 tires now, or if you do, you got to put it on. I missed something that was very disgusting. I'm going to go back over it. But you got to borrow the money. Here's the problem. Here's the second problem with number 2. When you're borrowing that money, you already don't have the money, right? We already understand that. You do not have the money. Because if you had the money, you wouldn't have to borrow it. No matter what it's for. A house, a car, brand new clothes, a trip, whatever. Dental work, health situation, death, doesn't matter. If you had the money, you wouldn't have to borrow. But because you borrow it, and you already don't have the money, borrowing the money already puts you in the hole, right? Like if you needed 10 grand today and you don't have 10 grand, but you're able to borrow 10 grand, you're at break even, zero. You're even, right? No, because you're negative 10 grand. Now it's about to get ugly. There's something I forgot to tell you about when you're dealing with the banks. Get a good shot of it. Interest. You're already here, right? You already don't have nothing. Now that you borrowed the money, you're here. You understand? You needed 10 grand. You ain't got it. You're at zero. You borrowed 10 grand. You're not even. You're less than even by 10 grand. You're negative 10 grand. Why you got my head cut off, man? You should like it over there. You got the camera. Don't talk. You're less than $10,000. Now we're going to tack in interest. Now, the way the financial, the borrowing algorithm goes, they set that up for 30 years. See my head? They got that set up for 30 years. What that means is when you are borrowing on your credit card, they got you scheduled for unsecured payments for 30 years. Hold it up so you can see my face. And my hands. So now that we have less than zero, it's here because you didn't have any borrowed, now you're here. Now that you have what? Interest involved. Now, depending on how long it take you back to pay, that $10,000 can eat, depending on the interest rate. Man, look. Let's say most credit cards is about what, 24.99%? You borrowed $10,000. You borrowed 10 grand. 10K representation, right? Most credit card charges about what, 24.99% a year? This is what you're paying on top of that 10 grand every year. And listen, I understand. You're going to tell me, oh, Cole, I got good credit. I got a 700. Doesn't matter. You still broke. You borrowed that money. I don't care if they charge you 24.99 or they charge you an introductory rate of 9%. I do not care. I'm going off of what most of us get. Now, that's $10,000. That's if, let's say you make minimum payment of $30 a month. Okay, I'll be fair. Let's say your bank says pay her $50. $50 a month. So now, what are we looking at? $600? This is the problem when you're borrowing from people and you don't know what you're doing. Just because you're a good paymaster, okay, don't mean you're in a great position. So you're paying $50 a month times 12. What's that? 600? That's $600 a year you paid them. And guess what that 600? Tell me what you think. Do you think the bank is going to apply this to the principal that you borrow, or do you think they're going to apply it? If it was you, what would you do? You're not knocking that off, because when you affect this, that affects this. So no, that $600 that you were so proud to pay, the $50 a month or whatever, or I'm going to pay double payments. See what your double payments do? That's $1,200. For all you smarties out there, I'm gonna pay, I pay double, coach. I pay double. Well, look what your double does. Nothing, because you're still getting the interest. So, like I told you, right? Their algorithm is for 30 years. Let me show you how ugly this can be. This is what you're scheduled to pay. You're scheduled to pay $74,970 off of borrowing $10,000. So your problem that we have is taxes, and you got to borrow money for everything you need all the time, or most of the time. Or you borrow the money for what you need and you do not understand how to pay it back. So that way, borrowing $10,000 doesn't mean financial debt for you for over 30 years because you've been taught to make minimum payments. Because people do what you show them. So what do they show you? They show you statements saying minimum payment $50 and you do minimum payment. As you can see, that does nothing to the interest. That's the interest payment in this scenario. $2,499. You borrowed $10,000. The interest rate was 24.99. I don't care if you can adjust it down to 20.99. You're still going to have the same result. But when their algorithm goes for 30 years, so we're looking at $74,000 if you make minimum payments. If you don't hit the lotto, if you don't, do something to help you get some money.
Business.
Why is it a split screen? What is that?
I don't know what's wrong with this thing.
It's doing it on the phone?
Yes.
I guess that's what happens when you start teaching. Don't worry about it. We're gonna work with it.
It's like showing.
Hey guys and ladies, if the video feed looks weird, that's beyond my control. But we're gonna do our best to keep going. I've been saying this for years. Every time I try to teach, there's always some type of glitch in the technology, or the phone hangs up, or something crazy happens. So just bear with us. What is that?
I don't know what's wrong with this thing.
What'd you touch?
Nothing. It started to do this.
No, it ain't coming with that. No.
It's really just, it's straight
One
up
second,
showing
folks. Let's see what's going on. Hey, authoress Lucy Colt, how you doing? I didn't see your question. No one told me it was there. What do you mean by it does, but it's cool? I'm not really sure I understand what you're saying. It does, but it's cool. Please explain that. There you go. Now we're back on. And we're back! And we're back. What the devil means for evil, Yahweh will use it for good. That's why I'm not stressed. Sometimes I get my eyes off the prize, but I'm smart enough to get back on. This is what I need, this right here. So, just to rehash, this is part of the problem why you can't make it. And this could be for a credit card, it could be for an auto loan, does not matter. This is the problem right here. Even if you are scheduled to pay $50, your interest payment is basically $2,500 a year, and you only pay $600 towards that. Even if you say, Coach, I double my payment, $100, and you pay them $100, that's still $1,200. That's still leaving the balance. You still not even hitting half that nut every year. So you get with me on my team, inbox me, let me know that you want to get out of debt faster, and I'll show you how to do it with what you have right now for free. It makes no sense for you to be in America, one of the greatest countries in the world, and make money, and you don't know how to get rid of your debt or manage your debt better. You get with me and my team, we'll do it. We'll show you how to do it. I'll get with me, I'll show you how to do it free. Because I want to see 1 million people in my country debt managed better. I know by legal definition, we'll never be debt free unless we get rid of the dollar, and I don't see that happen. But I do got something for that too. That's for another day. So here's our problem. Interest is another. They say the devil walk to and fro to see if you're going to devour it. That's how you get devoured, when you borrow money. And if you say, hey, Coach, I don't have any credit cards, I don't have any loans, that's because your credit bad. Your credit is no more than what you say you're going to do or not do in this world or in this country. So that's why you don't have it. Now, if you're still not making it because you don't have credit cards, that's another different animal. That means you're not making enough income. If you still got to hustle and grind and all that kind of stuff, can't sleep, can't rest, or you got to be up, 12 to 14 hours a day because you're working 2 jobs, or you working a job, then you got stuff on the side, a side hustle, all that junk, that ain't the solution. That is not the solution. So, I'll go over the solution momentarily. Now, the problem is, what are you touching? Did she respond?
Yeah, she says she was talking about your video.
Oh. Thank you, baby. Okay, so now, not having enough income is another problem. So I'm moving every time I move. You need this to survive. Here's what you need in America. If you have one and it's still not working, that means you need a better one. Don't make fun of my handwriting, but if you do, I don't care. You need strategy. If you have one and you've been working it for years and you get the same result, well, guess what? It ain't working. It ain't working. So, I have the strategies that you need. I have the solutions that you need. If you're willing to be an excellent student, if you care about yourself and you care about your family and you care about your community, hit me up. I will get you on the right path and make sure you stay on the right path, because that's all we need. We live in this country Some of us born in this country, playing this game, and we do not know how to operate. You gotta have strategy when you work here, when you live here. All right. So we already know, and I'm gonna go over it momentarily. Here's the solution. I'm gonna give you the free game. If you have a job, I don't care if you work for the government, work for the county, city, state, I don't care if you work for a private corporation, American Express, Walmart, fast food, does not matter. Even mom and pops does businesses. It doesn't matter. Here's part one of the strategy.
Mr. Carroll asks, could you explain bad credit versus no credit?
I'll get to that momentarily. I'm dealing with, Beverly. That's Beverly. Oh, Beverly, I'll get to that momentarily. I am working on the strategies and solutions to the problem of why do I work so hard and I do not have the results I'm looking for. That's what I'm working on right now. I'll get with you momentarily. So, number one solution is revisit your W-4 form. Half of you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. Your W-4 form was issued to you along with all those other stupid documents when you begged for a job and got a W-2 wage earner paid job from HR. HR will not disclose to you all the secrets I'm about to. Why? Because I tried this a couple years ago at a job, at two jobs, because I haven't had a job in 16 years. And once I decided to put strategies in place that make sense, that I've learned, I went out and got a couple jobs. Okay? And I did this strategy with both and got immaculate results. I revisited my W-4 form. Okay, stay there. I am going to give you a moment. I should have had this pulled up. Excuse me for not being prepared. All right. Okay. We are waiting on this form to pull up. You can follow along. It's an IRS government form. Even though I don't think IRS part of the government, but whatever. Here's where we're at. You should be able to do something. All right, the W-4 form looks like this. Show them. You got it in the shot.
Got it.
That's the W-4 form. I'm gonna scroll up and down. Okay, y'all remember this form? All right. Now, hopefully you guys are you paid attention and you got your pen and your paper out because we're gonna do a little quiz. I want to do a group quiz right now. Okay, most folks, before we go into the quiz, most folks when they do the W-4 form, they put for their allowances. Basically, this form is a notice to your bosses to tell them what?
You was like, what's it?
Is there a question or something? This form is a notice to your bosses to tell them how much taxes to take out of your W-2 wage or the paycheck. Now, most folks do what they always tell me, hey, I've done this. I put 0 or 1, so I don't have to owe taxes. And I ask them, well, why you do that? Well, my mama did it. Well, that's what they told me to do. Okay, well, that's wrong. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. Now, let's up and get that screen back up. All right, so I'm going to read off some questions to you. And what I'd like for you guys is to listen very carefully and just write these numbers down. And then, if you feel comfortable, put the numbers up there on the screen so people know that you're paying attention and that you know what's going on and that you can also see that there is an issue. All right. W-4 form says purpose. Complete this W-4 form so that your employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from your pay. Consider completing a new form, W-4, each year and when your personal or financial situation changes. See what the reason is for this W-4 form? It's not so you can use it to evade taxes. Okay? It's so that your employer will know the right amount of taxes to take out for you. So let's go ahead and get down to it, right? All right. We're going to go to the personal allowance worksheet. And when you do this, they recommend that you keep it for your records. Let me get that. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you. Give me 1 second, get a little drink. I'm talking for a while. Enter one. Hey, where's the orange man?
Which one? The power? Over there?
Enter one for yourself if no one else can claim you as a dependent. Enter one for yourself if no one else can claim you as a dependent. Hopefully you guys are ready to go with that. Section B says, enter one. That was section A. Enter one for yourself if no one else can claim you as a dependent. Section B says, enter one if you are single and have only one job. Enter one for yourself if you're single and have only one job, or you are married, have only one job, and your spouse does not work, or your wages from a second job, or your spouse's wages, or the total of both are less than $1,500 a year. I'm pretty sure you guys qualify for one with that. So just with those two right there, if you enter 0 or 1, you see you're wrong, right? Okay. Section C says enter 1 for your spouse. This is only for those who have a spouse, okay? But you choose to enter 0 if you are married and have either a working spouse or more than one job. Entering 0 may help you avoid having too little tax withheld. Now that's talking to people that got a 2-head household. Section D.